Everyone, today we will study a theme of life called energy and matter. Energy part we will study, and in the next video we will study matter. Okay, so the theme is energy. For life, for different functions of life, you need energy, and the energy has to be transferred. The energy has to be gained from somewhere. If a living organism is a producer, that is, it is a plant or a photosynthetic organism, then it will take the energy from sun and transfer it to the herbivores, then they will transfer it to carnivores, right? So the energy will be taken and transferred from one organism to the another. But will it be transferred in the same form? No, it will be transformed. So there will be transfer and transformation of energy, right? Of energy. Okay, for example, if I say a herbivore is going to make food by photosynthesis. Sorry, not herbivore, a herb or a grass or a plant or a tree. For example, here grass is going to make food by photosynthesis, so it needs energy, and that energy will come from sun. So if I say sun gives energy, that energy is light energy. Sun will use a little, around 1% of that energy, and do photosynthesis, and the rest of the energy will be lost to the environment. Then whatever it has used, it is done photosynthesis, and it will store the light. It will convert the light energy into chemical energy of food, right? So if I say a producer, it gets energy from sun. Sun gives which energy? Light energy. It is taken up by the plant or any other herbivore, and it is converted into chemical potential energy. Chemical potential energy of food that is present in food. So what food, right? Here if I say the light energy that has been used, and what has been made? Glucose after photosynthesis. So in the bonds of glucose there is chemical potential energy. So the one form of energy has been transformed into another form of energy. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. It can be only transformed, right? So light energy transformed into chemical potential energy of food. Here glucose, right? And then this chemical potential energy stored in the bonds of glucose will be used for different purposes. This, for example, if I say the plant needs to grow, so for different purposes it will need energy. That glucose can be used for getting energy, right? Then when photosynthesis is there, after that the glucose is made, and that is transported to the entire plant in the form of sucrose. And in the cells the glucose is stored in the form of starch, right? Even if I say the transfer is in the form of sucrose, that can be converted later into starch and stored, right? If I say the cell has to make cell wall, so for that also the glucose is converted into cellulose. So there are multiple fates of glucose once it is made. And see, a plant is not only made up of glucose or just carbohydrates. A living organism is made up of lipids, proteins, nucleic acids, But for all of them, the carbon skeleton, the backbone, is provided by the glucose formed from photosynthesis. And if a plant needs to make protein, it needs amino acid, and for that it will need the carbon skeleton that glucose will provide, and nitrates that it will take from the soil, and it will make protein. For nucleic acids also, nitrogen will be needed, and the carbon skeleton will be given by the glucose. Okay, fats and oils, the glucose can be converted into lipids, right? So once the glucose has been made, once glucose has been made, it can be converted into different forms and can be used. If suppose it is stored as starch, and then this any part of the cell, any part of the plant needs energy, then starch will be broken down into glucose, and then that glucose will be again broken down, and there will be a thing called cellular respiration. So in cellular respiration, the sugar will be broken down with the help of oxygen, and carbon dioxide and water will be released, and what will be formed? ATP, right? Now ATP is the energy currency of cell. Okay, so if ATP is formed, ATP itself will be broken down. ATP itself will be broken down with the help of water, and you will get energy whenever energy is needed for different purposes like reproduction, or any other plant growth, or different cellular activities. So, or different activities are work, right? Different activities, cellular activities, right? Any activity, they are work. And for work, what you need? Work, you need, or here we are talking about plant, it needs energy. Okay, so it's simply the chemical potential energy in ATP has been broken down, right, has been used, and it will be converted into kinetic energy of movement. Okay, and different energies, right? If I say this is a firefly, right? Okay, this firefly has to fly. If I say firefly, the larvae of firefly are carnivorous. And if I say adults, they can be herbivorous, right? So suppose this adult firefly will eat the plant leaf, suppose here, right? And the energy in the plant will be transferred to this organism, so in the form of food, and that organism will break down the molecules in the food, right? If starch is there, that will be broken down, and you will get glucose, then glucose will be broken down, and you will get ATP. Not you will get, here firefly will get ATP, and then ATP can be used for flying and for light also here. So if light is produced, see, the light energy has been produced, so the chemical energy of food has been converted into light energy here, and for flying or different activities, this organism will need energy, so kinetic energy will be produced from the chemical energy of food. So chemical potential energy of food has been converted into kinetic energy, light energy. So if a herbivore is an organism that eats plants, and so the food has been taken by the herbivore. Now it will break it down and use the energy stored in the food. If a carnivore is there, that will eat herbivore, and definitely it will use the food, it will break down the bonds, right, and energy will be released. Okay, and it will use the energy for different purposes. Okay, for example, muscle contraction, cell division, right? But when one organism is using the energy, and a lot of energy is lost as heat also to the environment. Lot of energy will be lost as heat also when the process of conversion transformation is taking on. So from one trophic level to the next, when energy is passed, lot of energy is lost to the environment. Only 10% is passed to the next trophic level, right? 90% is lost. Then next trophic level, only 10% is passed. So 10% of energy available to one organism is passed on to the next. 90% is lost as heat. Not just heat, total 90% is lost in different forms, for example heat. Or suppose if a herbivore eats parts of the plant, everything will not be digested. Lot of the some of that will be wasted in the form of fecal matter, that also contains the organic things and chemical potential energy that is being lost in the fecal matter. So, and a suppose a carnivore is eating an animal, another animal, right? A herbivore. And it will, if I say lion ate deer, so the lion will not eat the deer fully. Suppose bones and other things are left on, so they are also having chemical potential energy, and that is lost. That is wasted. Then the lion will pass fecal matter, in that also some energy will be wasted. Lion will be doing lot of works, cell division, running, reproduction, many things, and that also in that heat is lost. The organism has itself used the energy for its different purposes. So only 10% energy is left, 90% is lost. So lot of energy is lost to the environment. Okay. And one more thing, it's not just glucose that gives ATP. Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, all of them undergo cellular respiration and get ATP, and then ATP undergoes hydrolysis, that is breaking down with the help of water, and the energy stored in the bonds of ATP that will be released and used by the organism. So the ATP is the energy currency of the cell. Just like, see, you know that gasoline and oxygen, right? They undergo combustion. Heat is also, some energy is lost as heat, and some energy is used for the kinetic. Some energy is converted into the kinetic energy of movement in the car, right? Carbon dioxide, water is lost. Okay. Okay. So see this beautiful firefly. Thank you.